Welcome, and thank you for joining me. Today's presentation is going to be on ethics for work incentive practitioners. My name is Denise Luzak, and I am the NYESS Program Specialist. Okay, today's agenda, we are going to cover ethics, responsibility, code of conduct, as well as AI considerations. Today's objectives. After this presentation, participants will understand the core ethical principles and professional responsibilities of a work incentive practitioner. Participants will also understand the importance of upholding confidentiality, accuracy, and professional boundaries. When you hear the word ethics, what comes to mind? Ethics refers to the principles and values that guide our decisions, actions, and professional behavior. As a work incentive practitioner, ethics means doing what is right, even when no one is watching. It involves honesty, integrity, fairness, and respect for the individuals we serve. Ethical practice also means protecting confidentiality, providing accurate information, avoiding conflicts of interest, and maintaining professional boundaries. If you could just take a moment and reflect on your own experiences and ask yourself, how do ethics show up in your daily work? And how do your personal values align with your professional responsibilities? Today's training will help us connect these ideas to real life situations we may encounter when supporting individuals with benefits planning and employment decisions. Ethics is based on well-founded standards of right and wrong. These standards guide what people ought to do in both personal and professional situations. Ethical decision-making often considers key principles, such as individuals' rights, professional obligations, fairness, and specific virtues like honesty and integrity. For work incentive practitioners, these standards help us make responsible choices that protect the people we serve, maintain trust, and ensure our work aligns with both legal requirements and professional values. Ethics and values are closely related, but they are not the same. Ethics define what is considered proper or improper behavior for everyone in a given situation. It's often guided by laws, professional standards, and organizational policies. Values, on the other hand, are personal principles and beliefs that guide an individual's behavior. It's important to remember that acting according to personal values does not automatically make an action ethical. A decision may align with someone's values, but still violate ethical standards, professional guidelines, or the rights of others. As work incentive practitioners, we must ensure that our actions align with ethical standards, even when they differ from our personal values. As work incentive practitioners, we are entrusted with a significant responsibilities. The services that we're providing often involve sensitive and highly personal information for individuals who may be considered a vulnerable population. Through this credential, we have access to protected health information and personally identifiable information, such as Social Security numbers, financial details, such as any benefits and wage data. And in some cases, this may also include personal information about family members. Because of this level of access, ethical practice is essential. And protecting confidentiality, using information appropriately, and maintaining trust are not optional. These are all fundamental responsibilities of this role. With access comes accountability. This is a great responsibility, and ethical decision making must guide every interaction and action. Holding a professional credential carries an obligation to uphold ethical standards at all times. Your credential represents competence, trust, and accountability, not just to the individuals you serve, but also to your profession as well as the organization or agency you work for. Many professions operate under a formal code of ethics to guide behavior and decision making. Examples such as certified rehabilitation counselors, attorneys, physicians, teachers, and financial advisors. These codes exist to protect the public and ensure professional integrity, and as well as maintain the trust in the services provided. As work incentive practitioners, your credential similarly requires you to follow established ethical standards, safeguard the sensitive information, avoid conflicts of interest, and act in the best interest of the individuals you serve. Given the high level of responsibility associated with this role, it is imperative that work incentive practitioners conduct themselves with the highest ethical standards at all times. To support ethical practice, Cornell University has established a code of conduct and professional responsibility. This code helps practitioners understand the seriousness of their responsibilities and provides guidance for ethical decision making in their daily work. Adhering to this code helps protect the individuals we serve, reinforces professional integrity, and upholds the credibility of the work incentive practitioner credential. The Code of Conduct and Professional Responsibility is a set of professional standards specifically developed for work incentive practitioners. These standards outline expected behavior, ethical responsibilities, and professional accountability. Adherence to these standards is crucial. They guide how we handle sensitive information, provide accurate benefits counseling, and maintain trust with the individuals we serve and as well as partner agencies. Failure to follow these standards may have serious consequences. In some cases, unethical or improper actions could be interpreted as Social Security Administration fraud, which can result in significant professional and legal repercussions. This emphasizes the importance of understanding and consistently applying these standards in every aspect of your work. And remember, SSA fraud has serious legal and personal consequences. Following the code of conduct ensures you protect yourself, maintain trust, and safeguard the financial well-being of the individuals you're serving. It is critical that you always adhere to the code of conduct for your profession. Depending on your role and credentials, you may be required to operate under more than the code of conduct, and it is your responsibility to understand and follow all that apply to you. And if you're ever unsure of how to respond to a specific situation, you can just refer back to the appropriate code of conduct before taking action. The code of the code is there to guide ethical decision making and protect both you and the individuals that you're serving. And you're not expected to navigate difficult situations alone. When questions arise, reach out to a mentor or connect with a professional networking group to gain some guidance and perspective. The Code of Conduct and Professional Responsibility of our profession highlights 8 principles of the professional standards expected of benefits and work incentives planning and assistance practitioners in New York State. The Code of Conduct and Professional Responsibility are as follows: integrity, objectivity, competence, opportunity and equality, social responsibility, confidentiality, professionalism, and future orientation. Every interaction should reflect honesty and integrity. Acting in a trustworthy manner builds confidence in your work and upholds the reputation of the profession. Be dependable. Let others count on you. Be open and honest, even with difficult information. Hold yourself accountable and follow through on commitments. Maintain consistency with values and principles. Treat everyone fairly. And always be ethical and honorable. And do the right thing. Okay, now I'm going to go over an integrity scenario. The first one being, okay, so the appointment is scheduled with Susan at 3 p.m. to review benefits analysis. The benefits analysis has not yet been completed. You've made the decision to reschedule the meeting and inform Susan. So in this scenario, integrity means being honest and transparent with Susan. Even though the benefits analysis isn't completed, it's important to communicate openly and reschedule the meeting with Susan rather than present incomplete information. By doing this, it'll show accountability, reliability, and respect for Susan's time. Acting otherwise, trying to rush or hide the delay, would compromise integrity as well as professionalism. How would you handle this situation? What are the ethical considerations? And how can you maintain integrity while maintaining the delay? I'm going to encourage you all to just reflect on this scenario and maybe answer these questions. Would you reschedule this meeting or attempt to present incomplete information? And then another question, what impact does honesty have on trust and professionalism? And then lastly, how could you communicate respectfully and transparently with Susan while at the same time maintaining integrity? And then lastly, just to leave you with this, I just want to emphasize that integrity sometimes means to admit delays and take responsibility, even when it is uncomfortable. Okay, so integrity scenario 2. This one. You meet with Erin for the first time today. You spent most of your time gathering information from her to get an idea of all her current benefits and talking with her about potential benefits in which she may be eligible. Erin tells you that she has been working steadily under the table and not reporting it so that her financial picture looks grimmer and she is able to get public benefits. Display of integrity. How would you have handled this situation? I'm just going to pause for a moment and ask you to think about how you would handle this situation. There isn't just one right answer, but your response should always align with ethical standards and your agency requirements. Consider how you would acknowledge Erin's statement while remaining professional and non-judgmental. Think about what ethical concerns this raises and which parts of your code of conduct would guide your actions. And then lastly, also reflect on what you might or reflect on who you might reach out to for guidance. Maybe a supervisor, a mentor, or even a professional network before you may move forward. Okay, the next scenario we have, integrity scenario number 3. You have been working with John for about a year, meeting with him monthly to review his trial work period months, helping him navigate the cessation and grace period months, and teaching him how to report his wages to SSA. John tells you that he is not going to report his wages anymore because SSA will never find out anyway. What would you do? How would you handle this situation while maintaining integrity and professional boundaries? This scenario, number 3, presents an ethical challenge that many professionals very well may encounter. John has been educated on wage reporting requirements and is now intentionally choosing not to comply. For this scenario, in my response, I would I would remain calm and non-judgmental, but I would also clearly state that failing to report wages to SSA is not allowed and that I can't support or encourage this decision. I would also explain to him the potential consequences of not reporting, including consequences such as overpayments, maybe benefit termination, and other possible penalties. I would also reinforce the importance of honesty and integrity. I would review the correct wage reporting process again. I would also discuss how reporting wages can actually protect him and prevent future issues. If at this time John continued to refuse to report his wages, I would go ahead and document the conversation, and I would also reach out to my supervisor and refer to the code of conduct to determine the next steps. So, in summary, there may be moments when someone asks you to bend the rules or look the other way. These moments can feel very uncomfortable, especially if you're caught off guard. But by planning ahead and grounding yourself in the code of conduct, you're better prepared to respond with confidence, professionalism, and integrity. This will help protect you, your organization, and the individuals that you're serving. Maintaining objectivity and impartiality means treating all customers and stakeholders fairly, consistently, and without bias. Personal opinions, assumptions, or external pressures should never influence how we provide services, make recommendations, or document information. Documentation and interactions should reflect facts, not preferences or emotions. By doing this, it's going to protect the integrity of your work, ensure equitable treatment, and build trust with both the customers and stakeholders. Objectivity means treating beneficiaries fairly and without bias. Focus on accurate data, help them make informed decisions, stay neutral, and keep an open mind when options differ. By presenting all relevant information, it actually empowers beneficiaries to choose what's best for them while maintaining professional integrity. Okay, now I'm going to read another scenario. You've been working with Joe for a couple of months and have built quite a good rapport. Joe calls you and asks that you take his side and back him up when he explains to his wife that he is not going to return to work because he will lose his SSA benefits. What would you do? How would you respond while maintaining objectivity and professional boundaries? For this scenario with Joe, I think it's very important to stay neutral and not take sides. While I can still provide information about work incentives, reporting requirements, and potential consequences, I cannot advocate for personal decisions that are misleading or go against SSA rules. By focusing on presenting the facts and supporting Joe in understanding his options rather than influencing his choice, I would also document the guidance, and if necessary, I would also reach out to my supervisor as well as the code of conduct for additional guidance. These are just some questions to ask yourself. How would you maintain neutral in this situation? And what strategies can help you communicate facts without taking sides? Okay, next we have scenario 2. Margie is working with Samuel to help him decide if going back to work will be cost effective for him. Samuel decides that he would rather sit on the couch and play video games than go to work, with the potential of replacing his SSA benefits with wages. Margie tells Samuel that she is very disappointed in him. In this scenario, was Margie being objective? Why or why not? For this scenario, no. By Margie expressing disappointment, she's allowing her personal judgment and emotions to influence her interaction with Samuel. Being objective requires being neutral, non-judgmental, and supportive, even if it differs from what we think is best. For a more objective approach that Margie could take with Samuel, she could present factual information about the SSA rules, work incentives, and potential financial outcomes. Margie could support Samuel in understanding his options without imposing personal values or judgments. And Margie could also encourage him to make his own informed choice. Some questions to ask yourself. How could Margie have responded differently to remain objective? And also, why is maintaining objectivity important in helping beneficiaries make decisions? Scenario 3. Thomas is working with Manny about how his SSA benefits will be impacted by working. Thomas provides Manny with several options related to starting and stopping work, and when his SSA benefits may be terminated. Manny chooses the option that works best for him. In this scenario, did Thomas display objectivity? Why or why not? Yes, in this scenario, Thomas displayed objectivity. He did this by presenting multiple options. He clearly explained the potential outcomes, and he did not influence Manny's decision. Thomas also clearly remained neutral and non-judgmental, allowing for Manny to make an informed choice based on his own priorities and circumstances. This scenario, number 3, also highlights the importance of providing accurate information, supporting person-centered decision making, and maintaining professional neutrality. Objectivity ensures that beneficiaries are empowered to make decisions that are best for them without feeling pressured or judged. Some questions to think about with this scenario. How does this approach build trust and support informed decision making? As work incentive practitioners, our role is to provide accurate information, explain options, and offer professional guidance. However, the final decision always belongs to the beneficiary. It's not our business to judge or influence which options they may choose. Maintaining objectivity ensures that we respect their autonomy. It's also building trust and upholding our ethical standards. Competence means having the knowledge, skills, and abilities necessary to perform our role effectively. It's important to know the rules, but you also must maintain and improve your technical competence to provide high quality services. By staying competent, you're also upholding the credibility and professional image of your field. ensuring that beneficiaries and stakeholders can trust your guidance. How is competence exemplified? Competence can be exemplified by attending trainings to get the required CEUs to maintain your credentials, provide services only with a valid credential, and if you don't know the answer, networking with other practitioners to find it. And lastly, get regular updates on policies and procedures. Okay, I'm going to read a competence scenario number 1. This one, Joe received his WIP certification in August of 2017, and he has been providing benefits advisement services since that time. Joe has taken a few trainings over the years, but not one since 2021. He feels confident in his abilities to work with SSA beneficiaries and other public benefit recipients. So he chose not to renew his certification. What should Joe do? While Joe may feel confident in his skills, competence requires ongoing education and staying current with policy changes, rules, and best practices. Not renewing his certification and keeping up with training could put his knowledge and quality of service at risk. So, to display competence, what Joe should do is he should renew his WIP certification as required, participate in ongoing trainings and professional development opportunities, and stay informed about updates to SSA rules, um, benefits, and work incentives. Some questions to ask yourself. How does ongoing training contribute to competence? And what risks might occur if practitioners do not maintain current knowledge? Next, we have scenario 2. Beth is working with Joan, and while completing the benefits analysis report, Beth stumbles upon a mathematical error, which indicates that Joan would receive more in SSA benefits than she should. Beth immediately recalculates and contacts a work incentive colleague to verify that she has completed the document correctly before she contacts Joan. Did Beth do the right thing? Did she display competence? Yes, Beth did. She acted appropriately as well as demonstrated professional competence. She did this because she identified an error and she took immediate action. She verified her calculations with a colleague to ensure accuracy. And she assured that Joan would receive correct information before sharing it. This scenario highlights the importance of accuracy, attention to detail, and collaboration and maintaining competence. By her double checking the work and seeking her peer for verification, Beth upheld high quality service standards and protected both the beneficiary and the integrity of her work. Competence scenario 3. Jose is working with Joan to help her understand how working will impact her benefits. Jose has been a benefits advisor for 6 years and has a valid certification. Joan asked Jose about Section 8 housing and how that benefit would impact when she goes to work. Jose acknowledged that he is not clear on the Section 8 housing statutes, but will contact his mentor for more information and will let her know the answer. Joe then reaches out to Ray, obtains the answer, and follows up with Joan. Did Jose do the right thing? Why or why not? Yes, Jose acted appropriately and demonstrated professional competence. He did this because he acknowledged the limits of his current knowledge rather than providing inaccurate information. He proactively sought out guidance from a mentor to ensure his accuracy. He then followed up with Joan with the correct information. And by doing this, he maintained the quality of service and trust. This scenario highlights that competence is not knowing everything, but knowing how to access accurate information and ensuring beneficiaries received the correct guidance. It also reinforces the value of professional networks and ongoing learning. To summarize, if we don't know the answer, it's okay to ask. Inclusive excellence means valuing and respecting the diverse backgrounds of customers and stakeholders, including age, gender, race, culture, disability, religion, sexual orientation, language, and socioeconomic status. Work incentive practitioners should be culturally sensitive, respond to individual needs, and ensure that all individuals have equal access to opportunities and fair outcomes. This approach promotes equity, trust, and positive engagement with the people we're serving. Opportunity and equality are demonstrated by actively promoting diversity and inclusion in all interactions. Practitioners should treat every individual with respect, regardless of factors like age, race, gender, culture, disability, or socioeconomic status. Being sensitive to cultural differences and responsive to individual needs ensures equitable treatment and supports fair access to services and outcomes for everyone. Scenario 1, opportunity and equality. Janet receives a referral for benefits advisement services to help Kelly better understand how working will impact her SSA benefits. Janet agrees to meet Kelly at her home and then learns that Kelly is actually a male and not a female, as she assumed. Janet cancels the appointment because she doesn't want to work with the male gender. Did Janet demonstrate opportunity and equality? No, Janet did not demonstrate opportunity and equality. By refusing to meet with Kelly based on his gender, she failed to provide equitable service and did not treat the individual with respect. Practitioners must embrace diversity and inclusion, treating all individuals fairly regardless of gender, background, or other characteristics. Canceling the appointment due to personal bias violates the principles of equality and fairness. Scenario number 2. Michael is meeting with Paul for benefits advisement services. As they talk about Paul's interest in going to work and how working may impact Paul's benefits, Paul shares with Michael that he is 63 years old. Michael realizes that Paul will not be eligible for Ticket to Work much longer, so Michael will have little chance to receive any Ticket to Work revenue for the services he will provide, and tells Paul that he will refer him to someone else. Is this the right thing to do? Why or why not? No, Michael's action is not appropriate. Decisions about providing services should be based on the beneficiary's needs, not on potential revenue. Referring Paul because he will generate less revenue demonstrates bias and a conflict with ethical and professional standards. The right approach would have been to continue providing services to Paul, offering accurate information and support, regardless of his age or the potential revenue for Ticket to Work. Practitioners must prioritize the needs of the beneficiary and provide equitable access to services for all individuals. The last scenario. Tabor is working with Maria. Maria is reluctant to schedule a meeting with Tabor unless her mother and grandmother can attend the meeting as well. Tabor insists that he doesn't have time to wait until all four schedules align to get an appointment scheduled and refers Maria to someone else. Is Tabor displaying opportunity and equality? Why or why not? No, Tabor is not displaying opportunity and equality. By refusing to accommodate Maria's request, he is limiting her access to services as well as failing to be sensitive to her cultural or personal needs. Equality means providing support in a way that considers the individual's circumstances, not treating everyone the same without regard to context. A better approach would be to work with Maria to find a compromise, maybe such as scheduling a meeting that allows family participation or providing alternative options so she still receives the information and guidance she needs. As practitioners, we provide services to everyone without discrimination based on age, gender, identity, race, ethnicity, culture, disability, health condition, religion, national origin, sexual orientation, or socioeconomic status. This principle ensures equitable access, respect, diversity, and upholds our professional and ethical responsibilities. Practitioners have a responsibility to recognize how their guidance and services affect not only individual beneficiaries, but also the broader community. By providing accurate, supportive, and empowering services, we contribute to customers' economic independence, employment opportunities, and overall well being. Social responsibility is demonstrated by recognizing the influence you have on others who rely on your expertise. Practitioners provide accurate, factual information that enables individuals to make informed decisions about their benefits, employment, and financial well being. By doing so, you contribute positively to the independence and economic stability of the people you serve. Social responsibility scenario one. Emily is a work incentive practitioner who currently works with Rebecca. Rebecca is so grateful to have Emily on her treatment team that she considers her a close friend. Rebecca reaches out to Emily regularly, asking for not only benefits advice, but also parenting and marital suggestions, which Emily happily provides. What should Emily do? How should Emily handle this situation to maintain professional boundaries and social responsibility? Clearly, you can tell by the scenario that Emily has built a strong, trusting relationship with Rebecca. She is providing guidance outside of her professional expertise. By doing this, this can create dependency, blur professional boundaries, and potentially harm Rebecca if advice is inaccurate. So, what should Emily do to act responsible? To act responsible, Emily should continue providing benefits related guidance within the scope of her practice. She should politely redirect Rebecca to appropriate professionals, such as maybe a therapist or counselor, for any sort of parenting or marital advice. Emily should maintain clear professional boundaries while preserving the trust and supportive relationship she has built with Rebecca. Social responsibility scenario two. Maria is working with Thomas. Maria has gathered his background information, benefits information, and a BPQY from SSA. Maria put together a benefits analysis report and shared it with Thomas. Thomas says that he understands the options that Maria outlined, but asked her what she would do if she were in his shoes. What should Maria do? So, how should Maria respond while maintaining her professional boundaries and social responsibility? In this situation, Maria should avoid sharing her personal opinions or telling Thomas what she would do. By doing so, she could influence his decisions, and that would compromise objectivity. So, Maria should reiterate the options, pros and cons, and maybe potential outcomes outlined in the benefits analysis. Maria should encourage Thomas to consider his personal goals, priorities, and any circumstances when making a decision. Maria should also provide support for informed decision making without imposing her own preferences. The last scenario we have is social responsibility number 3. Sophia is working with Hector for benefits and advisement. Sophia teaches Hector to submit his monthly wages to SSA, and once Hector knows how, Sophia backs off and lets him do it on his own. Sophia follows up with Hector and finds that he stopped submitting his wages to SSA. So, Sophia steps in and does it for Hector. Should Sophia continue to submit wages for Hector? So Sophia should not continue submitting wages for Hector because this undermines his independence and responsibility. Social responsibility involves empowering beneficiaries to make their own to manage their own information and make informed decisions. Um, Perhaps a better approach Sophia could have done is remind Hector of the importance of submitting his wages accurately and on time. Provide him with guidance or even a refresher on how to submit wages. Encourage Hector to take responsibility and intervening only if he requests help or makes an error that requires correction. Even though you might not realize it at the time, you may have a profound impact on those you serve. Reminder: help others change their lives, and as a result, change yours. Confidentiality. It's a core principle of professional practice. Practitioners must protect customer information, whether written, electronic, or verbal, and ensure that it's only shared with authorized individuals. Maintaining confidentiality helps build trust, protects personal data, and ensures compliance with laws and regulations. Confidentiality is maintained by protecting both health information and personally identifiable information. Practitioners should avoid discussing customer details with coworkers unless necessary for professional guidance. And when seeking help or networking with colleagues, it's important to share only the information needed to answer work incentive questions without revealing the identity of the customer. This ensures privacy while still allowing collaboration and accurate guidance. Confidentiality Scenario 1. Ming is a work incentive practitioner and is currently working with Grace. Ming has helped Grace understand how working will impact her benefits, both SSA and other public benefits. Ming left his phone on the table and walked away. The phone rings and his girlfriend answers it and wants to know who Grace is and how she got Ming's phone number. Grace explains that Ming is helping her with her plans to go to work. Did Ming keep Grace's confidentiality? In this situation, no. Ming did not maintain confidentiality. By Ming leaving his phone unattended, he allowed personal access to sensitive information. Grace's identity and her personal circumstances were shared, putting her privacy at risk. Practitioners must ensure that all customer information, whether verbal, electronic, or written, is protected at all times. So, actions like leaving a phone unattended or visible can compromise confidentiality. Confidentiality scenario 2. Lila is working in an office setting. She spoke with SSA beneficiary Francisco earlier in the day and was working on the benefits analysis. She left Francisco's information up on the screen while she went to the bathroom and was only gone 6 minutes. Did Lila keep Francisco's information confidential? Why or why not? No, Lila didn't maintain confidentiality. Even though she was only away briefly, leaving sensitive information visible on her screen creates a risk that unauthorized individuals could see it. Work incentive practitioners need to take precautions, such as locking their computers, logging out, or even minimizing their screen when stepping away, even if it is for a short period. And by doing this, it protects personal and sensitive customer information. Confidentiality scenario 3. Patty needs assistance in explaining veterans benefits to Jack, so she connects her work incentive practitioner for advice. Patty shares information about Jack's situation with coworkers, but leaves out his protected health and personally identifiable information. Did Patty keep Jack's information confidential? Why or why not? Yes, in this situation, Patty maintained confidentiality. She was careful to exclude any protected health information and any personally identifiable information, while at the same time looking for guidance. This scenario here demonstrates that practitioners can collaborate and seek professional advice while still protecting the privacy of their customers. Maintaining confidentiality means sharing only the minimum necessary information and ensuring that sensitive details are left out. Protect personal, identifiable, and protected health information at all costs. Practitioners are expected to maintain professionalism by treating every customer and stakeholder with respect, regardless of background or circumstances. Services should be delivered efficiently, accurately, and comprehensively to meet the needs of the individuals and maintain the trust in the professional relationship. Professionalism is demonstrated by being punctual, honoring commitments, and treating every individual with respect. Arriving on time and keeping appointments shows reliability and respect for the customer's time, while consistently treating people with dignity fosters trust and a positive professional relationship. Professionalism scenario 1. Zuri was initially introduced to the SSA beneficiary as Mr. Evans and called him Mr. Evans for 6 months. At Zuri's most recent appointment, Mr. Evan asks her to call him Frank. Zuri is not comfortable with the change because of the perceived casual shift in the relationship. Is it okay for Zuri to insist on calling him Mr. Evans? Why or why not? So, for Zuri to insist on using Mr. Evans, that's showing respecting the customer's preferences. including how they wish to be addressed. It's a key part of professionalism, and it also fosters a respectful relationship. So even if it feels like a casual shift, Zuri should honor the request and adjust her communication accordingly. This demonstrates flexibility, respect, and professionalism while maintaining appropriate boundaries. Professionalism scenario two. James is working with Kiona to help her navigate working while receiving public benefits. Kiona asks James, who is his supervisor, um, is because she wants to file a complaint. James questions her about the complaint. Kiona indicates that James has been about 20 minutes late for every appointment and they've had in the past 3 months. And she feels like her stuff is not as important to James as other clients' stuff is. Given Kiona's complaint, has James been acting professionally? Why or why not? No, James has not been consistently acting professional. Professionalism includes being punctual, respecting all clients equally, and responding appropriately to complaints. By constantly being late and making Kiona feel undervalued, he has compromised the quality of service and the trust in the practitioner client relationship. Also, by questioning her about filing a complaint, this can come across as defensive rather than supportive or professional. Best practices do include arriving on time for appointments, treating all clients' concerns with equal importance, responding to complaints calmly, and directing clients to appropriate channels without seeming defensive. Professionalism scenario three, the last scenario. Judy is working with Salvador to help him maintain as much of his SSI benefits as possible while trying to return to work. Judy meets with him twice a month, on Tuesdays at 3 p.m. at the downtown library. Judy is always on time, she is happy and smiling, she is fully prepared for each meeting, and she explains things thoroughly. Is Judy acting professionally? Why or why not? Yes, Judy is acting professional. She's showing her professionalism by being punctual. She's consistently arriving on time. She's prepared. She comes to each meeting ready to provide accurate guidance. Her positive demeanor, she's always cheerful and approachable, which helps build trust and rapport. Um, Her communication is clear. She explains information thoroughly to ensure Salvador understands his options. So, in conclusion, Jody is exemplifying the standards of professionalism by combining respect, reliability, and effective service delivery. Treat everyone with dignity and respect. Practitioners should provide guidance and support that empowers customers to make choices about work, benefits, and life objectives. Sorry. Services should be centered on the individual's preferred and desired future, helping them achieve their personal goals while considering realistic options. Future orientation is demonstrated by helping ticket holders understand the potential outcomes of their choices. Practitioners provide clear, concise information on how work may impact benefits and offer multiple options to empower informed decision making. This approach helps individuals plan for a preferred and achievable future. Future orientation scenario 1. Dominic is working with Maria. She is interested in working part-time using the Ticket to Work program and eventually working up to SGA level. I'm sorry, Dominic is working with Maria. She is interested in working part-time using the trial work period and eventually working up to SGA level. Dominic has completed a benefits tracking sheet, which outlines the trial work period begins and ends, when the extended period of eligibility begins and ends, and the potential cessation, grace period, and benefit termination months. Dominic shares this information with Maria, and she will make an informed choice on when she wants to increase her wages and potentially have her SSA benefits stop. Is this an example of future orientation? Why or why not? Yes, in fact, this is an example of future orientation. Dominic is providing Maria with detailed, relevant information about her benefits and how it will be affected over time. By sharing this, he is empowering Maria to make informed, forward-looking decisions about her work and benefits. Also allowing her to plan her progression from part-time to full SGA level. Future orientation, it's about giving customers the knowledge and tools to make choices that align with their desired future outcomes. Future orientation scenario 2. Becky is married and has 2 children. She is currently receiving SSDI benefits. Becky is working with Caroline to better understand how working will impact her benefits. Caroline has completed a benefits analysis, which outlines several options for Becky to return to work. Caroline tells Becky that she should stay home with her kids while she can and only go to work when her kids are older. Did Caroline help Becky with future orientation? Why or why not? No, Caroline did not demonstrate proper future orientation. While she did provide a benefits analysis with multiple options, she imposed her personal opinion on what Becky should do instead of supporting Becky in making her own informed decisions. Again, future orientation is about providing accurate information, explaining options, and empowering the individual to plan for their preferred future, not directing them based on the practitioner's values or assumptions. The final scenario for future orientation. Mike received a referral for Timothy. He met with Timothy for the first visit to gather information. Mike told Timothy that because his SSDI cash benefit is so high, he would recommend that Timothy just stay home and continue to receive his benefit check, since there are no local jobs that will pay the same amount. Is this an example of future orientation? Why or why not? No. This is not an example of future orientation. Mike is providing his personal recommendation rather than supporting Timothy and exploring his own options. Again, future orientation involves presenting accurate information, multiple options, and potential outcomes so that the individual can make informed decisions about work and benefits. By telling Timothy what he should do, Mike is limiting Timothy's ability to plan for his own future, and also he's undermining his informed decision making. To summarize, future orientation provides options for SSA beneficiaries and encourages informed decision making. Which of these elements might be most challenging for you and why? If you take a look at this code of conduct, the 8 principles. The code of conduct outlines the core principles that guide professional behavior. Each element, such as integrity, objectivity, and confidentiality, sets expectations for how we interact with our beneficiaries, colleagues, and stakeholders. I encourage you to reflect on which areas you anticipate might be challenging and ask yourself why. By doing this, it's encouraging self awareness and any kind of proactive planning to be able to uphold professional and ethical standards in your daily practice. Okay, next we're going to move on to networking. In practice, it's important to recognize when we don't have all the answers. Seeking guidance from trusted resources ensures accuracy and protects the integrity of the services you provide. Also, I encourage everyone to identify people in your professional or personal network who you can provide reliable support, who can provide you reliable support when questions may arise. Is it maybe a colleague, a friend, a teacher, or a mentor that you could reach out to? The NICE Win Directory offers a valuable networking opportunity for certified benefits advisors. Joining provides access to peer support, professional development, and CEU credits through our quarterly meetings, and now our monthly trainings. So I encourage everyone who's watching this to take advantage of this network as a way to enhance your skills, stay current on work incentives, as well as build connections with other professionals in this field. Okay, Leslie, we're going to move into AI considerations. So, with the technological innovations that our world has experienced, it may be tempting to use various AI tools to get quick answers to our most pressing questions. However, let's consider the ethical dilemmas first. What ethical dilemmas can you think of related to using an AI tool like ChatGPT within your work incentive practitioner role? As a work incentive practitioner, you are responsible to maintain a strict confidence of the data that you handle for SSA beneficiaries and their families. So, if you're using AI as a tool to gather the information on a beneficiary's benefits, please keep in mind the limitations. The main limitations are hallucination. ChatGPT generated text that looks semantically or grammatically correct, but actually it's unfaithful and meaningless. Originality. The sentence or main idea of the text generated by ChatGPT is a copy or combination of the training data that it can access. Toxicity. ChatGPT may produce harmful content which contain biased or discriminatory language or speech that's aggressive, insulting, or even misleading. Privacy. ChatGPT is trained on large-scale data sets and interacts with countless messages, which may lead to some privacy and security risks. So, questions to ask ChatGPT. Examples we have here. So, say you're asking ChatGPT, what are the work incentives for someone receiving SSI benefits? Okay, so supplemental security income, SSI, includes several work incentives designed to help individuals with disabilities or older adults, 65 or older, to work and still receive SSI benefits. These incentives aim to reduce the financial risk of working while maintaining access to Medicaid and other supports. Key incentives include 1. Earned income exclusion. This is SSI excludes the first $65 of earned income per month and half of any remaining earnings when calculating the SSI payment. For example, if you earn $500, only $217.50 counts toward reducing your SSI payment. 2. Student earned income exclusions. Students under the age 22 who are regularly attending school can exclude up to $2,222 per month. That's up to $8,950 per year. This was again from 2024 from their earned income. This helps young individuals while continuing their education. 3, we have impairment-related work expenses, or IRWEs. Costs are related to your disability that are necessary for work. Examples such as assistive technology, transportation, medical devices can all be deducted from your income when calculating your SSI payment. And 4, we have blind work expenses, which are, according to ChatGPT, if you are blind, the SSA excludes any work-related expenses. Examples: guide dog costs, transportation, from your earnings, regardless of whether the expense is related to your blindness. We also have 5 plan to achieve self-support tasks. Again, which ChatGPT says you can set aside income or resources to achieve a specific work goal, such as education or starting a business. Money in the past is not counted as income or resources for SSI purposes. Then we have continued Medicaid coverage, Section 1619B. Even if your earnings are high enough to reduce your SSI payment to $0, you still may qualify for Medicaid if your income is below your state's threshold. And this varies by state, but Alaska's threshold is higher due to its cost of living. And lastly, we have expedited reinstatement. If your benefits stop due to work, you can request reinstatement without a new application if you stop working within 5 years and still qualify under disability criteria. So what do you think of these answers? So, and all the answers that ChatGPT gave, it seemed comprehensive, right? I don't think usually of the earned income exclusion as a work incentive, but it could be considered. But what about the general exclusion? Medicaid buy-in for people with disabilities information is missing from ChatGPT's response. ABLE account information is also missing. IRWE and blind work expenses. It indicated transportation costs can be used. However, there are rules about using transportation costs, which are not included in the answers ChatGPT gave. Also, subsidy and special conditions information is missing. And then we have this question to ChatGPT. What are the work incentives for someone receiving SSDI benefits? For individuals receiving SSDI, there are several work incentives that encourage returning to work while maintaining benefits. These programs provide safety nets to help you test your ability to work without losing your benefits immediately. Key work incentives include trial work period, allows you to test your ability to work for at least 9 months. while still receiving your full SSDI benefits, regardless of how much you earn. In 2024, a month counts as a trial work period month if your earnings exceed 1050. The 9 months don't have to be consecutive and must occur with a rolling 60-month period. Extended period of eligibility, EPE. After the trial work period, you enter a 36-month safety net period where you can receive SSDI benefits in any month your earnings are below the substantial gainful activity level. SGA in 2024 was $14.70 a month for most beneficiaries. Also, it was $24.60 a month for those who were blind, again in 2024. Expedited reinstatement. If your benefits stop because you earn above SGA, but you cannot continue working due to your disability, you can have your SSDI benefits reinstated within 5 years without needing a new application. You may receive provisional benefits for up to 6 months while your reinstatement request is processed. Then we also have impairment-related work expenses, IRWEs, which are work-related expenses related to your disability. Examples, transportation, medical equipment, personal care devices can be deducted from your earnings, potentially keeping you below the SGA level. Then we have subsidies and special conditions. If you receive extra help from your employer, such as reduced productivity or additional supervision due to your disability, SSA may reduce the countable income used to determine if you're earning above the SGA level. Lastly, we have continuation of Medicare coverage. Even if your earnings exceed SGA and SSDI payments stop, you can keep your Medicare coverage for at least 93 months, nearly 8 years, after the end of your trial work period. The Ticket to Work program provides free employment services such as job coaching, training, and counseling through approved providers. Participation is voluntary and allows you to explore work options without risk of an immediate loss of benefits. What do you think of this answer? Again, seems comprehensive, right? But the trial work period level is $1,110 in 2024, not $1,050 as ChatGPT did list. Also, the extended period of eligibility. The SGA level again is $1,550 in 2024, not $1,470 that ChatGPT had listed. SGA for individuals who are blind is $2,590 in 2024. ChatGPT listed it as $2,460. And then for IRWEs, the mention that transportation costs can be used, but does not describe the rules associated with transportation costs as an IRWE. Then there's the mention of the Ticket to Work program for SSDI, but it wasn't mentioned for SSI beneficiaries. It was just mentioned for SSDI beneficiaries. If you didn't already know about the work incentives for SSI and SSDI, you might use this information in your work, and it would be incorrect. Through our ethical responsibilities, we are charged with providing correct, detailed information for our beneficiaries. So, while AI might be tempting to use, be sure to double check that the information is correct. Prompt engineering. Ask your question and keep asking to clarify to get more details. Okay, lastly, I am going to share a few resources for your need. We've got resources for SSA beneficiaries. I have the POMS manual listed here. Gave you some Google search, POMS, IRWIS, the Code of Conduct, and Professional Responsibility. These are all links right here. And then lastly, again, my name is Denise Luzak. I am the NYESS Program Specialist. If you have any questions or need further training, please do not hesitate to contact me. I have my office phone listed on this slide, as well as my email. Contact me either method. Okay, and again, thank you for listening in on this. And I hope to see you at our next monthly CEU training.